For most New Zealanders, there's nothing more comforting than grasping a bulging bag of fish and chips to the chest on the Friday walk home. It's literally heartwarming. But right now, the fish and potato industries are facing financial strain since the restaurants and takeaway shops closed as part of the bid to contain COVID-19. They are pinning their hopes on a drop in alert levels after 4 weeks. But there's confusion about what the rules for takeaways will be when the country comes out of level 4 lockdown. Hamish Cardwell reports.
It's a cherished tradition, the Friday night fish and chip run. But right now, the industries behind the weekly treat are taking a battering. New Zealand produces 500 million kilograms of potatoes each year, and half that ends up as frozen chips, with the vast majority being sold to takeaway shops and restaurants. The head of Potatoes New Zealand, Chris Claridge, says people making do by whipping up their greasies at home has increased its supermarket sales, but that's nowhere near enough.
That hasn't made up for a drop in demand from the hospitality sector and the food service sector, which has essentially gone to zero.
Mr Claridge says without the chip shops and restaurants, growers will have to cut back planting, which could hurt the industry long term. Right now, it's unclear what the rules are for fish and chip shops when it comes to reopening under the level 3 restrictions. Mr Claridge says he wants the chippers back in action as soon as the alert level drops.
Because that allows people, at least from home, to get access to hot chips in your suburban local fish and chip shop. It's local, it's easy walking distance, they can take orders by phone. It's having those sorts of outlets available for the industry is crucial for our long-term function.
The $1.8 billion a year seafood export industry has taken a massive hit with disruptions to international trade. Seafood NZ's Chief Executive Jeremy Helson says demand for seafood here has dropped significantly as well.
I can't put a figure on it at this stage, but it's certainly pretty significant. Obviously, a lot of fish wholesalers that sell direct to the public have been hit by this. You know, fish and chips and, of course, the restaurant trade. Seafood being more of your premium protein, a lot of that goes into food service. So a lot of that demand has eased off domestically as well.
Lulu and her husband own Islington Fish and Chips in Christchurch. She says thankfully their rent is cheap and it's just the two of them working the shop, so they'll be able to weather the shutdown.
Pretty enjoy the time for have a rest.
But she says the larger stores with more staff might not make it through.
We had a friend and he got quite lots people work for him. It's gonna be very hard for him.
The Restaurant Association Chief Executive Marissa Boudoir says in a statement they expect 1 in 5 hospitality businesses will close permanently because of the coronavirus pandemic, with half likely to be wiped out in the tourist hotspots. Ms Boudoir says her understanding is that takeaway outlets can operate under level 3, but that talks are underway with officials about what exactly the rules will be for the hospitality sector when the country moves out of level 4 lockdown. For Checkpoint, ko Hamish Cardwell tēnei.
Nothing quite says it's the end of the week like hot chips. Sigh.